What does the Bible say about sex? Just a disclaimer, my next topic is for adults only, so viewer discretion is advised. Sex was designed by God so that people can reproduce and fill the world. It is sacred and only a husband and a wife should do it. But sad to say, Satan perverted the sacredness of sex, and these are the examples of sinful sexual activities according to the Bible. First on the list is any sexual act between unmarried couples. Second, any sexual act between both males or females. Third is sodomy or anal sex, regardless of whether it is done unto a woman or a man. Fourth, any form of sexual act with a family member or close relative. Fifth, sexual intercourse with a woman who is having her menstrual period. Sixth, any unnatural sexual acts such as the following: watching pornography, using sex toys, participating in group sex, rape, BDSM, having sex with a child, having sex with a dead corpse, having sex with animals, and all other types of perversions. For those who are asking if oral sex between a husband and a wife is a sin, well, there is no exact Bible verse for this matter. For some, oral sex is a sin and can be compared to sodomy because it is unnatural. Because the penis is made for the vagina and not for the mouth or the anus. Likewise, the vagina is made for the penis and not for the tongue or the finger. On the other hand, some believe that oral sex is just a part of foreplay and must be done before the actual sex in order to arouse the woman and make her vagina lubricated so that she won't be hurt by the penile penetration. Likewise, foreplay is also needed in order to arouse the man and make his penis erect so that vaginal penetration can be possible. And this is true especially for older couples who already have lifelong diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, and erectile dysfunction. They need more stimulation and arousal in order for sex to occur. Anyway, my only advice to you is talk with your partner about this first and ask for discernment from God. Then, if oral sex is really against your conscience, then it's better just to not do it at all. There are also Christians who believe that sex should only be done for the sole purpose of procreation and not for pleasure. Thus, if married couples are not planning to have a baby yet, then they simply shouldn't have sex. There are some Christians who also believe that all sexual positions other than the missionary position are sinful and will lead the couple to hell. Honestly, this seems to be too extreme, so again use discernment and do not do anything that is against your conscience. Now, as for me, I believe that God designed sex to be pleasurable so that men and women will be motivated to procreate. Because if sex is not enjoyable, then the human race should have long ago been extinct. A happy sex life is of the keys to a long and lasting married relationship. So do not deprive each other of sex, except perhaps by mutual consent for a time so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. After that, come again together so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Sex is an activity done by couples as a sign that they both love each other. Thus, it must not be treated as an obligation or a duty, but as an act of love and their willingness to satisfy one another. And if you really love your spouse, you will be faithful to him or her and avoid the temptation to commit adultery at all costs, because you don't want to hurt your partner's feelings. Anyway, for those who are in long-distance relationships, I'm sure you might be tempted to have phone sex. However, because of today's technology, this is not advisable, because hackers can easily access your accounts. Record your video calls, and if they wanted, spread your videos online, so it's kind of a risk. Remember, while we are still in our earthly bodies, carnal temptations will always be around. So when temptations arise, run from them just as Joseph did from Potiphar's wife. Anyway, for those of you who are asking if kissing before marriage is a sin, there is also no exact Bible verse for this either. So my only advice is it's better not to do it if kissing might tempt you into committing premarital sex. Now, for those who are asking if sex during pregnancy is a sin, well, There is also no exact Bible verse for this, but medically speaking, sex during pregnancy must be avoided, especially if the woman is prone to miscarriage or premature termination of pregnancy. Speaking of pregnancy, maybe some of you are thinking that contraception or family planning is a sin based on the story of Onan. Well, if you look closely at what happened to Onan, God slew him not because Onan did the withdrawal method, but because Onan willfully violated God's law about Levirate marriage. Now, just to share, back when I was an atheist, I used to think that I couldn't live without sex. And that's why back then I was always looking for a partner in dating apps. But indeed, nothing is impossible with God. And the former porn and sex addict right here is now porn free and celibate for 4 years. So, for those of you who are like me, who are still struggling with pornography and sex addiction, the only most effective solution for this is the fear of God itself. Fasting can also help, and being busy with important tasks so that you won't think of watching porn. And you will lose the energy to have sex because you'll be so fatigued and worn out at the end of the day from all the productive stuff you've done. Remember, in the new heaven and new earth, there will be no more sex because we will be as angels who don't need to procreate. So while we are still here on earth, we must train ourselves and not depend on sex for our happiness, because true happiness can only be found in God. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.